This is Chip Cod Roach, and I am reviewing a kind of going backwards in the Batman franchise. I'm doing the Joel Schumacher movies first. I refuse to call him Schumacher. So I'm starting backwards. I'm going with Batman and Robin. One of the critics call it one of the worst movies ever made. I disagree. It isn't that bad. It's bad, but it's not that bad. After doing further reading, Schumacher decided to star George Clooney as Batman instead of Val Kilmer, which was made in the movie before, which was Batman Forever. Like I said, I'm going backwards. I'm going to do his last movie first. And then after this, I'm going to do Batman Forever. But this one is the George Clooney Batman, which is one of the worst Batmans ever casted.
One of?
Fine, it is the worst Batman ever casted. Val Kilmer might be the second worst, but that was Schumacher's fault. So then we have Arnold Schwarzenegger as Mr. Freeze, which is a complete joke. And I'm going to get into the jokes later. This is going to be a very long rant. And then we have Alicia Silverstone as Batgirl. And then we have I forgot the actor that played Bane, but he passed away shortly after this movie was released. He was a wrestler in WCW. And then, of course, there's Alfred by Michael Gough. There's the boring Chris O'Donnell as Robin. Uma Thurman plays Poison Ivy, which may have been the best casting in this movie. I'm trying to think who else. Oh, yeah, then you have Pat Hingle as Commissioner Gordon. So there's some of them. Now, after doing further reading, Schumacher's his first choice for Batman for this movie after Val Kilmer was William Baldwin, which is the worst of the Baldwins. He is the bottom of the barrel, the most rotten apple you could ever pick. And yet he was the first choice over George Clooney. Could you imagine if William Baldwin was Batman? Could you imagine if Schumacher was actually casting Batman movies now? He would probably make Michael Cera as Batman. He would probably put Jason Long as Mr. Freeze.
Who?
He would probably have Alfred played by, I'm trying to think of Dave Coulier.
Who?
He would just... Michael Cera, the guy from Superbad.
Never seen it.
Okay, well, yeah. The point is he's sort of a no-name actor now. And Jesse Eisenberg as Robin, I mean, he would destroy the whole thing. It's a good thing that Schumacher's not making movies anymore. So moving on.
I like how I have no idea who any of them were, but okay.
Well, that was the point. And Jesse Eisenberg was in that network movie. He played Zuckerberg. Oh, okay. Well, alright, so moving on. So, the premise of this movie is Victor Freeze, played by Arnold Schwarzenegger, is coming up with a cure for his late wife Nora, who passed away from McGregor's disease. He was going to come up with a cure for it. Things went wrong, and something went wrong in his lab, and now his body, it doesn't go well now with average temperatures, so he has this, what do you call that, a cryogenic suit, which is pretty much, it keeps his body temperature cool. So it's played by Arnold Schwarzenegger, and him playing a doctor just does not fit. It doesn't work.
You guys just turned the dryer on. Oh, wait, I gotta put it.
Okay, so Mr. Freeze, after doing all this stuff with his wife, he probably blames Wayne Enterprises for this disaster. So what does he do? He goes to steal diamonds at this museum in his ridiculous-looking suit with this stupid gun that freezes everything, and then he's about to steal diamonds. And so then Batman and Robin they go in to intercede, and they go and they confront Mr. Freeze, and he apparently freezes Robin, which his lack of personality you wouldn't notice. He doesn't talk much anyways. He's boring. So Robin is frozen. He has 11 minutes to thaw him. So of course Mr. Freeze gets away. Batman saves Robin. Meanwhile, Uma Thurman, a botanist, is she works with plants. She sees her boss with the serial killer, and they make a really boring villain named Bane. He's lame. So they inject him. Of course, he gets really big. Uma Thurman sees this. Her boss then, I guess, I forgot exactly what happens, but then she ends up being with these plants, and then she becomes Poison Ivy, which she honestly is probably the best character in this movie. There's no doubt about it. She plays the part well. But then she does walk out with Bane, who really doesn't say anything. He just growls, and he's just a big, kind of a Hulk type of character. He's just really strong. That's his power. So she is now with Bane. Those two are together. She does eventually join forces with Mr. Freeze, and Batman and boring Robin, of course, attempt to save the day. And then, who magically appears out of nowhere is Alfred's niece, is played by Alicia Silverstone, which eventually she then becomes Batgirl. Yeah, a lot going on here, and a lot of it really doesn't make sense. So I will obviously show you a few pictures, and try not to laugh at Mr. Freeze. As you can see, this is the ridiculous costume for a very poorly casted Mr. Freeze, played by Arnold Schwarzenegger. I mean, how could you not laugh at that? At least this movie, you could at least have a good time laughing at it. But, I mean, even look at that gun. I mean, it just blends right in. It is the most ridiculous thing. I mean, this is something that John Hamburg would write in his memoirs or something. He would come up with something ridiculous like this. But no, Schumacher beat him to it. And he designed this himself. I'm sure he thought of this when he was eating his cream of wheat with his breakfast.
Ew.
So, moving on, I'll show you some more ridiculous photographs from this movie that was just so poorly done. Okay, so this is what happened to Robin. He is now frozen. And now, the weird thing is now, George Clooney apologized for playing such a bad Batman. But, Chris O'Donnell never apologized for being a bad actor. So I don't understand. Why did one apologize for something but the other one didn't? So this is one of my favorite parts of the movie.
Fascal!
Is when Robin is frozen, and yes, I have a guest. He's trying to chime in. He's saying, "Why are you having me watch another bad movie?" And so let me just try to show you a couple other pictures here from this wonderful movie of dumpage.
Behind Rascal.
Okay, so this is Poison Ivy, played by Uma Thurman. She has an idea for the environment to, I guess, crossbreed this venom with plants. And what she's doing here, she's getting nosy with her bosses. This is where I believe she sees the making of Bane. So I just wanted to show you Uma Thurman's character first. And again, she is sort of the savior behind this movie. She plays this part, like I said, extremely well. So she does kind of come in and save Schumacher, saying, yes, I should have been casted for this part. So I will show you Bane shortly. Okay, so Pamela Isley before she becomes Poison Ivy, is snooping in on her weird boss. He's making this ultimate killing machine after this guy was previously a serial killer.
Great combination.
It's a great combination.
He's a moron.
So he's actually auctioning this thing off. And this guy is actually played by Robert Swenson. I believe he was a WCW wrestler. So, WCW, there's more mediocre garbage in this movie. It fits perfectly. So, he's auctioning them off to, there are world leaders up in the balcony there, in this strange laboratory place. And Pamela Isley's watching the whole thing, and she makes some kind of noise, and her boss catches her and puts her in these venomous plants, and then she becomes Poison Ivy. I will show you that right now. We have a change. She magically turned into a little bit more attractive, let's say, when she her boss thought that he killed her. He did not. He actually transformed her into a very deadly human being. So, yes, she does kill this guy. So the thing behind this was Pamela Isley came up with a way to save plants, and Wayne Enterprises, being the American company that it is, decided because she was doing something for the environment, it decided to kind of cut the funding. Oh, Bruce Wayne is his hero. Look what he just did.
Is that why she was after him?
Yes.
That's great.
Yes.
But she doesn't know who he is.
So she knows.
As Batman?
Well, yeah, she doesn't really know that he's Batman, but yes, she wants to go after Bruce Wayne now. So the wonderful hero, Bruce Wayne, is destroying our planet. What do you think about that one, comic book people? May not love him so much anymore. I'm going to go on to the next picture before I totally get torched for that. I didn't really. I forgot that this was in the movie, but this is now my favorite part. This is Mr. Freeze watching Mr. Freeze. Only
I
this
love that
Mr.
song.
Freeze is more believable than the Mr. Freeze that Schumacher casted. And I'm going to show you what a bald Schwarzenegger looks like. So hold your laughter for just a little bit longer. He looks like a blue Mr. Clean. I mean, this literally gets more and more ridiculous by the second. I don't know what Mr. Schumacher was thinking, but this just gets worse and worse. I mean, this just becomes a comedy. Schwarzenegger being a conductor, and the fact that he's bald and blue and huge. This is not a Mr. Freeze. I mean, he really should have picked somebody else. Rick Moranis would have been a more believable Dr. Freeze than Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'll go on to the next picture. I'm sorry, I had to laugh. I'm going to say, when Schumacher did this DVD, he really made it convenient because everything's going right in line. So this is Barbara Wilson. This is Alfred's niece. And Alfred actually has that McGregor's syndrome. So yes, he is sick. So without that cure, which Mr. Freeze has, so they have to get that in order to make Alfred better. So this is Alfred's niece, and yes, she does turn into Batgirl. And yes, that is Alicia Silverstone. So after she was making Clueless, they decided to cast her in Batman and Robin and kind of totally destroy Batgirl. So Schumacher destroys a lot of things here. Just makes it to the 1997 of dumpster fire movies is a Batman movie. So good job to Schumacher. Let's give him a round of applause for destroying Batman. I'm sorry, I had to get another picture here. I mean, how could you direct this and not laugh? How could you not laugh at Bane driving the car? I mean, this just looks hilarious to me. I mean, I know that Schumacher got his inspiration from the 60s Batman, but, I mean, he did this really wrong. He did not bring purpose comedy into this. He brought bad comedy into this. I'm laughing at the movie. I am not laughing with it. This is not supposed to be a comedy. This is a serious movie, and there's a man with a ridiculous mask and Hulk hands on the steering wheel. I mean, I don't know how they can even act with a straight face. I have to give the actors credit here. How could they not wet their pants laughing at this? This is just absurd. I mean, look at the hat. I mean, the whole thing of this is just ridiculous nonsense, but I can at least laugh at it. I'll show you another ridiculous picture, I'm sure. I'm just stumbling on these. This is not scripted or planned. I swear. Okay, so I did want to take a picture of George Clooney as Bruce Wayne. Maybe you guys can comment, but does George Clooney really look like a Bruce Wayne? To me,
No!
Okay. I was going to say, I do not.
I like my answer better.
Obviously, my bride-to-be says no. So, I guess that is the answer there, is no. I just wanted an opinion on this, because to me he really doesn't look like it either, but, you know, what is he going to say to being cast as Batman? Does he really want to say no? I mean, imagine the dollar signs to play Batman. I don't look like Bruce Wayne, but would I do it? Yeah.
I'd rather you be Superman. He's better.
There's money in that too, so yeah, I'll take Superman.
Good.
I'm not going to take Spider-Man, though. No, it's not my thing. I'll go to the next picture. Okay, so this part here, Dr. Freeze is trying to show off his acting skills by getting emotional over home movies in his frozen lair. He is watching pictures of his wife, who we know has passed away. Normally, it's nothing to laugh at. It's just that Arnold Schwarzenegger playing Dr. Freeze just doesn't fit. They should have casted somebody that looks like a doctor. Even the professor in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles would have made more sense than this. This just doesn't fit. Yes, it shows him getting emotional. It works.
They should put George Clooney as
That would have been a
Mr.
better
Freeze.
fit than Arnold Schwarzenegger. This big, beefy guy.
He should have been Batman.
Yeah, it might have made more sense, but
They did it backwards.
anyways, he's watching movies of his wife and getting sad. Again, it's just Arnold Schwarzenegger playing this part just does not work. It just doesn't. Schumacher, look at your work of fart.
Tell us how you really feel.
I haven't yet. Okay, so this, you could kind of say, has some 60s Batman to it. She uses this potion, and notice it gets to Robin. Batman's nose is covered, so it doesn't get to him. But Robin, of course, it gets to Chris O'Donnell because he's vulnerable. Again, he's boring, and he's...
I like him. Stop talking about him.
Oh, I'm not talking about him. I'm just being very honest. And he wasn't really casted with too much after this, and there's reasons for it. He had to learn how to act, and Schumacher really wasn't helping him. So, she seduces Robin, so now he's under her spell. So Robin does whatever she asks, and kind of goes against Batman. So there's this really weak feud going on here. And I think at the end here, Robin does do like a holy something Batman and gets on his motorcycle. So he tries to throw 60s Batman in there. And Schumacher just doesn't make anything work. He just destroys it. And I'll show you a couple more pictures before the end of the movie. And then I'm sure you can't wait until I give it the grade. Look at that! This is great! I'm sorry. I'm really just putting this in for the first time in a long time, and I just forgot how ridiculous this is. But how could you not laugh at that car? And this is Mr. Freeze joining forces with Poison Ivy, and just look at the design to the left, and then look at that stupid car to the right. I mean, how could those actors to the left not laugh at this? I'm just really wondering, because I'm seeing this for the first time in a long time. And I am just laughing at this. I think this is hilarious. So this is Mr. Freeze joining forces. He's freezing everybody, and Robin's under seduction. So yes, they are joining forces, and they are getting ready to take over Gotham City. And this is the last time you see Gotham City after this movie for a long time. Let me show some more photos. Okay, so I could be wrong from time to time. They didn't exactly join forces, so I was kind of wrong on that. So Mr. Freeze sort of invaded the party. Poison Ivy puffed him, and he went on his way. That's okay. I can be wrong from time to time. At least I admit it. I'm not Jeremy Johns. So moving on.
You admit when you're wrong? That's funny.
This is Schumacher's Gotham City.
So confused.
It doesn't make sense. What is that naked man doing in Gotham City? A giant statue, almost the size of those skyscrapers, which really aren't. This is not a dark city like Tim Burton's Batman. This is like, I don't know what I want to call this. This looks like it came out of a Dickens novel. Everything's kind of pretty and bright, and no, that's a bad example. Dickens is kind of a dark one as well. I don't know what I would call this.
What is that?
I don't know. There's a lot of weird stuff with this city. I mean, he has completely ruined Gotham City.
The hell is that? Also, there's an eyeball in that building.
It just looks horrendous. This is not. I mean, I don't read comic books, but this is a very poorly made Gotham City and a very poorly done Batman. I mean, this is a pathetic crap show is what this is. I mean, this is bad. You know what, I'm going to say this looks like something that was made out of Legos. It is not dark. This is kind of a bright, happy looking city, even though it's got explosions of Poison Ivy and Mr. Freeze icicles going through it. It still doesn't look anything dark and creepy like Gotham City is supposed to look. So I'm going to get to a next photo here. I'm just picking complete random ones. This is not scripted at all. This is not planned. This is all just random and at the top of my head, believe it or not.
And weird.
I'll show you more. Okay, so this is, I do apologize. I'll try to find a better picture of the Batmobile, but right now that's what I got. So this is the 1997 Batmobile. I don't see what the big deal is if Warner Brothers changed this just to sell toys. Hey, if people are buying them, keep making them different. But it's, again, is that really a Batmobile?
It doesn't look anything like a bat.
That we really came to love and enjoy?
No.
No. It's a really bad job. I mean, everything in this movie is just a poor production.
Is that the car that the guy bought today on that show that you watched?
No.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no. Nobody wants to buy this Batmobile. This is not a collector's item. This is a item that collectors would actually want to take themselves and just throw it up against the wall and hope it shatters into a million pieces. Because nobody wants this. This would go in the Island of Misfit Toys if this was on Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. So I will go to a different picture right about now. So 54 minutes into this movie, and they already catch Mr. Clean. Sorry. I mean Mr. Freeze. And they put him in the famous Arkham Asylum. So they capture him. He's now in the asylum. And hopefully they're getting the cure so they can help Alfred. Let's find out what happens. Okay, so now they do join forces. So Poison Ivy poisoned the guards. Bane went to the criminal property room and got the guard there. So now they're breaking Mr. Clean, Mr. Freeze, out of the Arkham Asylum. So now they are joining forces, and now they are going to try to take over Gotham City together. A very poorly cartoonized Gotham City. Alright, I will just show you a couple more pictures until I get to the conclusion of my video. Okay, well, we are almost done with this movie, and Barbara Wilson, Alfred's niece, has now decided to join in the action and find the Batcave. How long did it take her? Almost the whole movie to find it? Nice job again, Schumacher. You've killed it. Batgirl is only good for a couple scenes of this movie. And I am going on to the next picture because I just cannot believe this. I didn't even know this. Like I said, it's unscripted. What the heck is that?
What the hell are you screaming for?
Oh, that's $1.
Oh, you gave me a heart attack.
I'm just. What kind of bat signal is that? He even did that wrong. I swear, I really don't remember much about this movie, and the more I'm seeing, the worse it gets. It really does. That is not the bat signal. That's a red bat. That's not black. That's red. He did that wrong.
Well, you owe $1 to a jar for giving me a heart attack, so.
No, it gave me a heart attack. That's not the bat signal. Next picture. Okay, so Mr. Freeze has decided to take his video game joysticks and freeze the city. So now it is up to Robin. As you can see, Batgirl's on the motorcycle. I had to get Batgirl on the motorcycle. And just a thought here. I'm just noticing this right now. So she's driving that motorcycle when there is a full-blown sheet of ice right on the city. That's not possible. So, okay, something else that Schumacher did wrong. This is like number 1,000. Okay, so I know it's a Batman movie. It's not realistic anyways. But, okay, so Robin, Batgirl, who's joining this movie an hour and 41 minutes in. So she has 12 minutes to make her appearance as Batgirl. Nice job, Schumacher. So, yeah, so those three are thawing out the city because Mr. Freeze is turning it into an ice rink. Just a couple more pictures here. Probably, maybe one more. Okay, so the three of them ended up saving the city. They put Mr. Clean and Poison Ivy, and I believe they also shrunk Bane. And Poison Ivy and Mr. Freeze are actually sharing a cell in the Arkham Asylum. So the dynamic trio, and even look how they're dressed. I mean, that's just ridiculous. I mean, it just gets that bad. Making this movie was not a good thing. So now this did come out in '97. So how did this compare to the other movies that were made? There was Volcano. There was Dante's Peak. The Lost World, Jurassic Park. The Devil's Advocate, Devil's Own, Contact, The Edge. How did this movie compare to those? Not even close. Those were not, and it was not a great year, but this is a Batman movie. And this was a disappointment for a lot of people. Critics hated it, and people that went to see it were very disappointed. They were let down. People were so angry at George Clooney after this, and it wasn't even his fault. This was Schumacher's dumpster fire. Now, he did make A Time to Kill and The Client. Those were good, but this one was just complete crap. So what would I give this movie? A D- to an F rating. So that's pretty much it. Leave your comments below, and don't forget to subscribe, and thanks for watching.